Hey there, fun people, and welcome back to Let's Fix It. It's been a while since I've posted anything, and I've got a little project. It's going to be a minute. I got this Cadet 125 narrow frame, and this is my play tractor. The mowing tractor is over in the corner, but this is my winter play tractor and my summer gardening tractor. One of the things that I have always disliked about this tractor is how heavy the implements are. This is the lever. Raise the plow. Holy Christ. That plow probably weighs about 100 pounds. And then you got this manual linkage right here that comes over to here. And this lever is how you bring it up and down. You've got a lock button right here that locks it up or locks it down. But it's heavy as hell. And this tractor has no hydraulics on it. Not that it could not have hydraulics on it. It can. They do make a hydraulic attachment for it, but I don't have a hydraulic attachment for it. Thanks to a guy named Charlie Proctor, I've got a diagram of a spring lift assist for this tractor. And Amazon just brought me 2 springs. I think these will work. According to Amazon, they have a lifting capacity of about 69 pounds. And I'm going to put one of them together using the plans that Charlie Proctor shared with me. And if that works a little bit, I'll go ahead and use that. If it works really well, I'll use only that one. If it doesn't work, I think I'll put 2 of them on it. Now, I've tried to modify this a little bit. You can see right here, I've added this bracket right here to the plow to try to maximize a little bit of leverage. The first hole I put in it is the same distance as the second hole. The only thing it gives me is a new position on the lever, which I thought would be helpful, but it was not. So I put this other hole up here, which is a little bit helpful, but not as helpful as I'd like it to be. So back to the spring assist. We're going to try to build that. Now on this 125, and I assume all the cups are probably about the same. This is the frame that the plow's attached to. And down here, this one and this one are the levers that pick up a mowing deck, if you have that on there. And this bar right here attaches the 2, and it goes all the way across to the pedals, comes out over here. And if you've looked at the diagram I included in here, it attaches to this lever right here, goes up a little bit, and then a rod attaches to that and goes back through the frame over the rear end. And so that's what I need to duplicate, is that rod mechanism. And I say, I've got the sketch, the original Cub Cadet sketch, but pretty much I'm making this up on the fly. And if I do a second one, it goes on this side and goes over this side. The whole linkage runs through the frame rails. Here's your lifting rod. And that's a little bit below the frame, is the frame rail that we're going through. The rear spring adjustment is going to attach to the top of this frame, to this bolt right here. And I think it should probably attach to the other bolt that's up there in front of it, just for stability. And on the other side, I've seen you can do a second spring on the other side as well. I don't know that we'll need that yet. I'm reserving the right to install a second set if the first one doesn't provide me enough assistance. So that's the setup. Let's start with the brackets. They go on the back of the frame rail and the adjustment rod. We'll go from there. All right, so here's my sketching out stuff I'm going to do. So basically, I got the frame rail. Huh. Some lead on my pencil wouldn't hurt a damn thing. Hang on a minute. All right, so as I was saying, we've got the frame rail. And we extend that all the way to the front of the tractor. And back here, I've got a bolt in here and a bolt in here. And the distance I've measured so far is 8.5 inches. Between these bolts. And then I need this bracket come this way. And I was looking at the spring. I've got a little bolt hang through, sticks through the bottom of the frame. I got to clear that with the spring. So this here I figured would come down 1.25 inches. And that would put the bar between here under the bolt and then your spring. Up into here. Now up here we've got the lift lever that hangs down right here. And remember, we got these two that come up here. Lift lever. Huh. Struggling with words. I forget what the clearance issue was here, but this lever in the drawing needs to have a bend in it. And then I need bracketry up here for this is attached to. So that's the general ideas. Here's the spring I bought. 7 inches, 7.25 inches from end to end. That's going up here. And then I need my threaded rod. All right. So let's build this bracket here first. Now, if you like your tape measures, I don't recommend doing it this way. If you like your tape measures, I recommend you use a pencil. I got a lot of tape measures. All right, so I took the measurement on the holes on the frame. I've got 1 1/16 the center of the first hole, 7 1/16 to the second hole, 8.5 overall. That leaves me the 1.25 here. So my radius, I want to bend my radius right in the middle of those two. And then this is going to be a 3/8 hole. There's a general rule that your hole cannot be any closer to the edge of material than half of the diameter. So 3/8, I got plenty of room here. We're just going to round that up to 1/2 inch. Where did my white pencil go? There we go. All right. So this material here is, what do we say? Yeah, 1.5. So our holes need to be at 3/4. All right, so there's the first piece. Got my holes drilled everywhere I need them. Got my angle bent in there. And the next piece is going to be the adjustment rod. It's going to slide through here like this, and it's going to hook to this spring. And I think the most appropriate next thing is an eyelet here to hook that spring into. All right, so here's the last of the easy pieces. This is the adjustment rod with the hook on the end. I'm a little concerned that this may or may not be long-term successful, but there it is. And this would appear to be a little bit of a random length, except it's not. The spring is 7 inches long. I expect the useful extension half the length of the spring. So this may get shortened later on as I figure out exactly what the movement of this is going to be. I don't think the movement is going to be much more than probably 3 or 4 inches going back to a 7-inch spring. If the movement of the bracketry I'm anticipating is around 3 to 4 inches, I think we're in good shape. I can cut this down a little bit shorter, because I really don't want this hanging out the back of the tractor like that. All right, in the drawings I were sent, it shows a bracket that clamps onto this here bar, which is your pivot. So that's your pivot. And what I'm seeing here is I already have the vertical bar, and I have a slot in here that's not being used for anything. Looks to be take about a 5/16 bolt in there. And what I'm thinking is I can make a bracket that will bolt onto this here vertical piece, and then put a hole up in here for the connecting rod to link into. I think we're going to go with the keep it simple, stupid philosophy, and I'm going to try that. I'm struggling with lights here. Hey, if anybody wants to send me a camera with some better lights on it, by God, I'd appreciate that. But I'm doing this with an iPhone. All right, try that. All right. There we go. So we can see the slot here. That appears to be about a 5/16 slot. Thinking a bracket, come out here with a hole in it for the connecting rod to link into. All right, let's try that. See how it works. All right, so here's where I'm at so far. Under the tractor, the lift lever has a vertical piece that comes up like this. It has a slot cut in it. And the release uses about this much of this slot, which leaves me a lot of room down here. I originally said I thought this was 5/16, and I'm wrong. That's actually 3/8, which works out pretty nicely. I measured across here, and from here to here is 2 inches. Ooh, I'm out of my frame. All right. From here to here is 2 inches. And from here to here is 3/4. So this slot is offset. What I've come up with is I've got 2.5 inches between this point and this point to use a bracket. And from here out to about here, I figured 3 inches, which would give me a piece, when you draw it out, it looks something like this. And then I can drill 2 holes here to bolt this to this piece, drill a hole up here to put my control rod into. That's this piece right here. Now on the inside of this, where this is going to go, I don't have room for nuts. So, I don't know if we can see this. I drilled and tapped these for a 3/8 bolt. That gives me the ability to bolt this in without using nuts. I don't have a whole lot of thread on there, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nut on the back side of this, and I'm going to weld it on 3 spaces around here. I don't have the room to get this and the nut in there, so after it's welded in, I will come back with a grinder and grind off about a 1/16 to about a 1/16 inch of this nut. What that does is that transfers these last 3 threads to these last 3 threads, which gives me a full nuts width, full thread. Also, I want to put a bend in this. This lines up with one of the hydraulic lines underneath. I don't really want this to rub on a hydraulic line because that's going to cause you trouble down the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an S-bend in this. So when we're looking at this from the top, instead of being straight, it's going to come out, get a little bit of an S-bend in it. And that will get my linkage away from that hydraulic line. When I get this all done, I'll come back and show you what I've got. But that's where I'm at. All right, as promised, there's the piece. It's got the 2 mounting holes with the nuts welded to the back. The nuts have been ground down so they'll fit in between the lift bracket. And there's the 3/8 hole to hook the linkage to. There's the S-bend, or somewhat of a Z-bend. Some people call it a Z-bend. At any point, now I need to install this and work out the linkage, the length and the bends in it. That's not going to be easy to put on camera, but I'll definitely show you the finished product. All right, so here's the rod. I put a identical hook is what I put on the last one. And I like that because I think once the spring is in that, it's not going to come off. And the rod turns out to be 13 3/4 inches long. And when I put it up in there, there's no bends required. It's a straight shot down the frame, the way this bracket works out underneath. Now what's left to do is to center drill a hole right here and put a bend in this rod right there. Now I've been using a 20-ton press to bend this metal. I didn't show you any of the bends, but this one can be done in the vise with a torch. Heat this up red hot, bend it over. But this little hole has to go through the center. And I don't know if you know how to center drill a hole like that. And I think I'll just do a quick video of drilling this hole. Now I do some home machine shop stuff, and this here is a jig for holding a piece of rod on center. I'm guessing some of you guys may not have a machine shop or this particular jig, so let's go the 4-man route, the redneck route, whatever you want to call it. Get your drill vise out and get yourself a piece of angle iron. All right. And in your vise, well, in a drill press vise, you'll have a couple of notches in there. That will hold that pretty solid. Now you can see we're on center. Next thing I need, a pair of vice grips. Where did my vice grips go? There they are. I need the vise to stay where it's put. We're going to do that with a pair of vice grips. we're going to tap. I'm not going to center punch this, we're just going to tap it with the drill bit. Now, a small drill bit like this, you'll want to take it slow, back it out and let it clear now and then. Because when she plugs up, it'll snap clean off. It doesn't take a whole lot of drilling to plug up these reliefs. That's starting to grab because we're coming through the other side. And rather than let it keep grabbing like that, we're just going to clean out the back of this hole. All right, so if you go back and look at that video, you'll see this drill bit stop turning periodically, and what that's doing is it's grabbing as you're coming through the hole. So instead of sitting there fighting the bit, take it out, turn it over, drill the backside. All right, so here we are. Here we are. Where are we? Yes. Here we are with the hole drilled, the bend made. Hairpin to go in there. What's left now is to put it together, adjust it, and see if it works. Doggone it. I'm feeling good. All right, so there's the bracket with the rod in it. We've used I've used this slot in the existing bracketry to mount it with. The rod, surprisingly, did not need any bends at all for clearance. There's a spring inside the frame. Well, I can't tell focus, nothing. There it is. There's a spring inside the frame. Comes back here. Oh, there it is, coming out the back. Now, looking at the picture that I had from the original Cub Cadet version, I can see where I would change this. I would change this to a bolt and change this to a plug in the spring. That way you wouldn't have all this rod hanging out the back of this. You'd simply have a bolt head, and your excess rod or excess threaded bolt would go right down the center of the spring and make this easy to install and uninstall. I think that's the way the original Cub Cadet was designed. The original lift assist was designed for IH. Looking at the picture that Charlie sent me. However, I don't think I'm ever going to take this back out. I think what I'll do is just tighten this all the way down until it stops, put a jam nut on there, and cut that off. And I'm happy, because this deck doesn't ever do anything but snow plow and garden utensils, or garden implements. Now here's the real test. Holy shit, is that easier? I mean, that's still not light, but that is nothing as heavy as that was before we got this installed. Well, friends, I will tell you one other last thing. I did mention earlier that I'm told you could put a second one of these on the left side of this frame to make it even easier yet to lift. But there's no bracketry over here. So if I was going to do that, I would have to build the bracketry and the lever to make that work. Let me know in the comments section if you think that's something you want to see, and I'll tackle that. All right? Hey, thanks for watching. And if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click the subscribe and like button.